there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you find this. My name is Nicole. This is my channel for my shop, WeaveandWobble. We are a pottery and textile design store. I say we, but it's really just me and my students who I love very much. I've done a few beginner tutorial videos for my crochet classes so that they can refer back. So you might notice those on the channel. But I wanted to start kind of reaching out to you guys and just showing you what's going on, what projects I'm working on, what might be happening at the shop. So some of the videos I'll do here at home, and then some of the videos I'll do at the shop. So you'll kind of get to see both of those worlds. It is a beautiful day here. I am about 15 miles as a crow flies to the St. Louis Arch. So I'm actually on the Illinois side in Belleville, Illinois, where my shop is. So we have yarns and spinning fibers. I do classes in knitting, crochet, spinning, weaving, and pottery. And then a friend of mine whose also name is Nicole does encaustic painting classes from time to time at the shop. So feel free to check out WeaveandWobble.com for more information on that. I'll try to put a link in the description too, so that way you can just click and go find us. But for today, I'm fiber focused, so I wanted to show you some of the stuff that I'm working on or have been working on. Now, you should know that I am slow as molasses with getting stuff done just because the shop is very demanding. I teach classes every day, but maybe Monday. Mondays are supposed to be my day off. That's not always the case. Sometimes I'm doing inventory, returning emails, loading kilns, unloading kilns, meeting special classes, things like that. So ideally I'm supposed to be off Sunday and Monday, but sometimes I have classes. Like this Sunday I have a spinning class. So it just kind of depends on what's happening. So feel free to check all that stuff out. I don't want to yammer on about that too much, but I'm sure you'll hear lots more about classes and things like that as we go forward. So let's see, for today, I wanted to talk about a finished object that I'm excited about. I did this kind of a granny square stitch shawl. I love purples and greens. I don't know when or how that happened, it just did, and this is my life now, purples and greens. So it's a, let's see, it's 50% baby alpaca, 25% silk, and 25% linen. It's from a place called Apothecary Fabrications. I think she's out of, can't remember if it was Arkansas or Alabama when I met her. She was at the Midwest Fiber Festival here in the St. Louis area, and I bought some of her stuff. So as you can see, this is a luxury linen DK weight. And here's the ball of it, or what's left, I should say. I think I used like maybe 1.5 of these. I really love it. It is so soft and feels so good. You know, just something summery, but it's got that alpaca in it, so I think that it could work in spring and fall, as long as it's not too darn hot, because Lord knows you don't want to be too hot. So just to kind of give you an idea of what she looks like. Super soft against the skin. I really love the color variation, that hand dyedness that she did. Really awesome. I'm excited to have this as a finished object. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's see, what else do we have happening? I'll show my crochet project first. I got all my junk stacked up back here. I am I am a collector of all things, especially fiber. So here's what happened with this. So this is my current crochet project. I crochet and I knit and I weave. I do all the things. The addiction is full on full on serious in my life. So I bought this center skein, this granny square stitch. I bought this at a vacation, and I lost the tag for it, so I've been carrying this ball of yarn around that I just thought was pretty and didn't have a plan for it. I only had one ball of yarn. I didn't know what to make. So the other day we had the Summer's Last Splash yarn crawl, which is a St. Louis based yarn crawl, and we only have 4 stores now. Since the pandemic, a lot of people retired, which I don't blame them. They had been in business for 30 years or more, so they were ready to move on. So it's us 4 stores now. It's an awesome little event. There are hundreds of people that come out, men and women, and it's free, and it's busy, and just lots of fiber talk, and it's really fun. And I was trying to knit during this, like whenever I would have downtime. Well, I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep my count. I couldn't remember where I was. So I thought, I can't do this project. I'm gonna screw it up. So I decided to start a blanket with this skein of yarn that I had. So I just decided, since I didn't know what to do, I would just do a granny square all the way around until I ran out of the yarn. So I used it all the way. I didn't waste any. I don't have any scraps. This is all that whole ball in the center of this project. Then what I started doing was looking at the colors in the granny square and looking at what yarn I have in the store, and I just started picking colors according to that. But I changed the stitch because I thought it would be fun. I love making blankets. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. They're there to keep you warm and just to be in love with them. So I went ahead and started looking, and I kind of saw this teal color, and I thought, you know what, I've got a really good teal at the shop that I'm gonna do. So I ran up to the shop and I grabbed, this is alpaca. It's a worsted weight 3-ply, and it's from one of my most local vendors and one of my longest standing vendors, which is Bernard, some people might say Bernard Family Farms. I hope that's not backwards in the video. I'm still learning this whole video thing, so bear with me. But Bernard Family Farms, they're out of Bonnie, Illinois, which is like maybe an hour south of here. And I just love their farm. I love their family. They're good people. They're always so sweet and positive. I love carrying their fibers in the store. So they had this, full alpaca, hand dyed by them. And so I just started doing a half double crochet all the way around. And I just did that until that ball of yarn ran out. And then I went through my stash of yarn again, which when you own a store, you have a large stash. And I couldn't decide what color. I was trying to find the pink color that's in here. But the one pink that I had was like Pepto-Bismol, and I just don't like Pepto-Bismol. So I went with the orange color. So that's where I'm at now. And this one I'm kind of doing kind of a ruffly, let's see, I do a half double crochet into one stitch, and then I do a single, half, and double crochet into the next stitch. And that's where I'm at now. So I'm kind of getting this little ruffly edge thing. So we'll see how that goes. If you don't like it, you can frog it, right? So again, this is alpaca. I do have a love for alpaca that it's just so darn soft, It is just the most lovely, soft yarn that I've ever felt in my life. Next to the silk linen, that's another favorite. Linen, it's beautiful. They're just amazing. So I picked another alpaca. I picked this orange. It's just so happy. This is way out of my color palette. Way, way, way out of my color palette. This whole situation for me is new, and I'm just I'm going with it, and I'm just winging it, and I'm having fun. So that's, I think, what projects are all about, especially whenever you're doing like Afghan blanket type things. What rule are you really following other than you just want to make it as big as you want it? And with this false fall that we're starting to have right now, I don't really think you can go wrong, because it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it just starts to cover your legs, and then it keeps you cozy while you're working on it. So it can be like a full season project. So that's my one of my current whips, my crochet whip. I try to work on stuff at least once a day, like either in the morning or after I get home from work or whatever. I don't really get home from work until like after 8, so sometimes I'm, to be honest, just completely done and I just want to go to bed. I love all my students and I love being with them, but after I'm with people for 8 hours, I sometimes just get exhausted and tired, and I'm just ready to go into dreamland. So that is my crochet project. Oh, I wanted to show you my crochet hook too. So my friend Tim, me and his wife got to know each other because she took pottery classes with me at one of the colleges that I teach at. And he's a woodworker, and so sometimes my hands go numb, and it's hard to hang on to like the smaller needles. So I asked if he could make larger ones that were easier to hang on to, and he had this little lathe, and so he did, and it's awesome. Just good for regular crochet, not ideal for like Tunisian or anything of that nature, but great for regular crochet. And then he stamps the US size on the bottom, so that way you know what size it is. And I just crochet with the heck out of these things, and this one's made of rosewood, and it's just so gorgeous. So I do sell these in the shop. With him being a woodworker, he's like super nerd, like we are about our fiber and different things like that. He's super nerd about his wood, so all the tags are like, it's this kind of wood, and it's dyed, or it's stained, or it's exotic. And I mean, it ranges anywhere from $29 to $79. So really just depends on the wood and how big of a pain in the rear end it probably is to carve out some of these hooks. So that's the crochet project and crochet hook that I'm working with right now. My knitting project that I'm working on is a single skein project. So one of my biggest selling yarns in the store is Wonderland yarns. They're out of Brattleboro, Vermont. Don't say that after you've been drinking. And they have a club that's called D-Stitch Nation. Kind of looks like Destination, but it's like D-E Stitch Nation. And they release a skein of yarn with a pattern once a month. And so that comes to my shop. And this birch cowl that they released some time ago, I saved the pattern, and I'm trying to knit this. I'm doing it in a different colorway though. I decided to do it in the salt and pepper, but I just kept the same size yarn. So the yarn that it calls for is Mad Hatter, and their Mad Hatter is considered a sport weight yarn in our world. They just have like little names for their yarn weights. So it's 344 yards in one skein, and I'm using a 4.5 millimeter circular needle, 16-inch circular, to make this. I love the little charts that they have. I can kind of keep up with what in the world I'm doing. So this is where I'm at right now. So not super far along, but you can kind of get an idea. So it's just kind of a black, white, gray. I think it'll go really well this winter whenever I can put it around my neck and just enjoy having this lovely cowl. Here's the ball of yarn. So these are superwash wool. I sell a ton of the sport weight and fingering weight, which is like their sock yarn. I shouldn't say just their sock yarn, because they have some that are just fingering and some that are sock yarns, which have nylon in them. They also sell ones that have like cashmere and silks and things like that. The cashmere, oh Lord, that's like a whole nother lovely soft obsession to squish when you come in the yarn store. So that's the salt and pepper. And then I'll just keep working away at this, and I'll kind of update you guys as I work on it, but I think it's gonna be really cute. And then the needles that I'm working on are my Lantern Moon needles. I think Lantern Moon and ChiaoGoo are like neck and neck. It kind of depends on, I think, how fast you want to knit and kind of what fiber you're using, and and everybody's kind of different. I will say, like, metal needles are kind of cold, and I know a lot of people say that, and I do agree with that. I concur. When it's cold outside and you pick up a set of metal needles, they're cold. Lantern Moon are a really luxury brand wood needle. Plus they have these, like, I mean, look at this. Beautiful. I personally wish that this particular set was purple. I have this one set in the store that's called their Bliss set, and it's a beautiful purple with this like wood grain in the bag. That's just a personal choice, but I wanted the larger set of needles. So when you open it, looks like that. And then they have these really great swivel cords. When people come into the store and they see these things, they're like, oh my gosh. So they spin. I know it's probably hard to see that. And then they have these like nylon coated non-memory cords. They don't get all kinked, they don't get hung up. They're a lot like the ChiaoGoo cords, because I know everybody loves ChiaoGoo for those types of cords, and I will say that Lantern Moon does offer that as well. But I really love how their swivel cords work. Right now, that Lantern Moon's almost all that I use. I have a full set, and I just use the heck out of them. Plus, I really love their little connector key that they have. This thing works so good. It's so, the other key that I have, I always lose, and then I have to order another one. These I can keep a hold of. I love them, and there's two in this set, so I got backup. And I've got a little storage container for like stitch markers and things like that. I love having stuff in a little package that I can take with me, because I can just straight up put stuff in here, zip it up, pop it in my purse, and go to dinner. And then if I want to sit at dinner with people and knit, I can. So I really love when they're all in one package. And then from there, this is where your needles are stored. This particular set goes from 3mm up to 8mm. So there is a variety. So I have like a 3, a 3.25, a 3.5, 3.75, a 4, and then the set that I have on there now, I think are 4.5, whatever this is called for. Yep, 4.5. And then 5mm, 5.5mm, 6, and then it jumps up to an 8. So that's what that set has. They have 4-inch interchangeable, 5-inch interchangeable, different size, swivel cords. They have non-swivel cords if you don't like swivel cords. And I can order things that are like individual. I know a lot of you ask me when you come in the store if I can, and I can. So if you just want like one set or a fixed set or something like that, let me know. But the Lantern Moon are just, they really are that luxury brand of like ebony wood that just really is lovely to work with on a regular basis. So that is my knitting project. I got this new bag whenever I was in Chapel Hill visiting my friend in North Carolina, and I love plants. This is just a portion of the room I'm sitting in. There are plants literally everywhere, and then my backyard is out of control. I just can't let plants die, so I just plant them and love them, and they just last forever. So I bought this little bag that has different ferns on it. I love to learn as much as I love to create, so anytime I can buy something that has plants or learning about plants, any kind of botany, I love that stuff too. So the whips that I have are that birch cowl that I showed you with the Wonderland Yarn Salt and Pepper, and then I'm doing my crochet whip, which is that blanket that I'm just kind of organically working on. And then I have my finished object here that is my Apothecary silk alpaca shawl that I am in love with. I think whenever you finish something, you're always kind of in this love affair with it for a while until you finish something new off the needles. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, my book. So I wanted to share with you, I love to read. I try to read at least a chapter out of 1 or 2 books every morning before the world gets to me. I think it just makes me a more peaceful person to be able to read a little bit and learn. So I usually pick one book that I learn from and one book that kind of takes me away somewhere. This particular book that I'm reading is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. So easy to see. I can never tell if that's going to be backwards. I think that's going to be backwards. But The Creative Act by Rick Rubin is the book that I'm reading right now. Really interesting to kind of go through Rick Rubin's ideals and philosophy behind creativity and creative people. And there are some chapters in here that really resonate. This morning I read about how he thinks of people as prisms and how the light of life kind of passes through us. And when the light passes through us, it's different colors. And our true colors shine depending on like what we're going through, our emotions, you know, where we are that day. Are we at work? Because we're probably a little different at work than we are at home versus with friends versus with family. So different colors kind of pass through depending on where our light is and where we're at in that moment. And that's why when we make something, our art can be different at that moment because our colors were different. Our prism was shining through in a different way at that time. I think that's why sometimes when we try to revisit a project, it may not resonate with us as deeply as we normally think, or we're hoping, like, oh, I'm gonna remake this, and then when you make it, it's like not as exciting as the first time you did it. So just one of those funny things about creativity in life. But really good book. I just thought I'd share since it's really speaking to me this morning. So I think that's all for today. I just wanted to kind of pop on here. Like I said, I'm still kind of learning the video stuff, so I'll try to get this uploaded, and then maybe next time when I'm at the store, I'll share some stuff that we have for sale, some different yarns and fibers. All my spinning wheels are up at the shop right now because we have a class this weekend, so I'll try to take some video and share that in one of the shorts with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about projects, yarn, fiber, whatever I share on here, just comment below and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And until next time, ciao.